Good morning.
Attorney Samantha Sprague-Pete, 1931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right. Is Miss Antula here?
I don't know who she is.
Oh, well, come on up. It's your case, too. Yeah, me either. But I think that's how it works. All right. That's okay. Your name? All right. Where are we on this case?
Your Honor, there is still outstanding rent due and owing. We do show that currently there is past due rent in the amount of $8,140.70. There are late fees currently in the amount of $225. That does reflect three $75 late fees.
Boom, nearly $10,000 on the table. That's not just unpaid rent, that's late fees, court costs, and utilities stacking up like Jenga blocks. Question is, will the tenant be able to knock it all down with her defense?
Are aware of the court's position on that, so we do have numbers for the $75 according to the lease, as well as the $30 that the court has traditionally permitted in the past. And then we also have charges of $160 for washer and dryer fees, utilities in the amount of $239, and court costs in the amount of $327 for a total due and owing of $9,089.70 per the terms of the lease. However, given the reduction for the late fees, the total would be $8,954.70 for the requested judgment.
All right. And what is your position, ma'am?
Well, I think there was just a big miscommunication. Earlier this year in April, they had me sign a lease addendum that I provided for the court. The opposing counsel had a less rental amount. I signed all the paperwork they gave me. I gave them everything they asked for. I dropped it off at the leasing office. They were closed over the weekend, and I didn't hear back from them for 40 days. And at that point, they said, you need to sign a new lease addendum with a new rental amount. So,
here's the twist. The tenant stopped paying altogether based on legal advice. But in landlord-tenant court, not paying rent is like playing poker without any chips. Risky move. What do you think? Smart or disastrous?
Under legal counsel from a legal aid clinic, I didn't pay anything because I didn't know what to pay. But I don't want to keep coming to court, and I just want this to be done and over with. So I would like to.
That's how I feel on a lot of things.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I would just like to pay September's rent.
Have you figured out what the difference would be between what you're being charged now? I'll put it that way, as opposed to what it would be under this first lease.
The first lease, well, I'm not sure what exactly I should pay. Like, should I pay the lease addendum that I signed for, or the amount that they want me to pay? Because
well, I'm asking what would be the difference between the two. Have you calculated that out in your head?
Well, it would be $1,259 versus, I believe, $1,492 per month. I believe so it would be like 200 and I'm not very good at math, 240 maybe.
Say those numbers again.
1,259 versus 1,492.
You guys are supposed to do this math for me, but you don't care. No, you just don't care. That's fine. I got it.
I'm very good.
I have 233 a month difference.
Okay.
And what is plaintiff's position on that?
Plaintiff's position is they acknowledge that during the initial recertification, as part of the recertification documents, the lease was signed by Ms. Hantula. It was never fully executed because it was the rental amount for a one-bedroom, whereas Ms. Hantula is not in a one-bedroom. She is in a two-bedroom. When management realized their mistake, they did contact Ms. Hantula. She refused to sign the updated one, as well as refused to provide recertification documentation, which is still outstanding on her account.
So this is subsidized?
It's a low-income housing tax credit.
Got it.
So it doesn't she doesn't receive a voucher or Section 8, but it does require annual recertification to make sure that she fits the income parameters.
Ma'am, is that part of the distinction, I guess?
Well, when I had spoken to Sabra, who is, I consider my landlord, I had asked her if a different two-bedroom was available because on the company website, there was a 2-bedroom that was in this price range. It was 1,200 something. Can we move it? Can me and my son, Max, who's 10 years old, can we move into this 2-bedroom that's available on the website when my lease is up? And she said, no, that's not available for you to move into. So when I signed this addendum,
Which, the first one?
Yeah.
Well, the one that you signed. Go
yes,
ahead.
renewing my lease, I had assumed that since the other 2-bedroom wasn't available, then I would be getting this price, and said, like, there was nothing that made me think that this wasn't a valid, contract. Like, they gave me it to sign, I signed it, I gave them all the paperwork, my pay stubs, my child support.
I get all that. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, at least I think what plaintiff is indicating to me, is that the lease you signed was really for a 1-bedroom
Well, but
as opposed to a 2-bedroom.
but it had my apartment number and everything. Like, it had all of my information. And there was a 2-bedroom available for that price. And there still is on the website.
40 days in silence? That's enough time to binge watch every courtroom show on Netflix. But in legal terms, delays like this can muddy the waters. Did management mess up? Or was the tenant just hoping the lower rent would stick?
So I thought that I was getting,
No, I hear you. I guess I'm,
like, and then they waited 40 days. Like, I didn't get any paperwork back. I didn't get any, they waited 40 days to tell me, oh, hey, you need to sign a new lease addendum. So,
well, okay. So that was going to be my next query. You signed this agreement for this lower amount. Did you then pay rent
I did not.
at the lower amount?
No, because it was for the next month.
You have to help me with that, because
This was in the beginning of April when I signed the new contract, and then the new lease was starting in May. So a month went by, and then I noticed on the resident portal when you log in that it had a different rent amount. And so it was like about 40 days later, I emailed Sabra and I said, what's up with this? And she said, oh, you need to sign new paperwork. I'm going to leave it on your door for a new rental amount. That's the amount you need to pay. So I didn't pay anything, which I wasn't sure if I was legally what to do really in that situation. I just sort of.
well, the reason I asked that question is because you're indicating to me that you sign this document and then it's 40 days later that but you didn't pay that lesser amount.
I didn't, because they told me that the lesser amount.
What were that wasn't your move-in date, right? Was it?
That was my lease renewal date, because I've been there for a year.
Okay. So what was your rental rate prior to?
It was 1,492.
1,492. So that's what you paid prior to this April time.
Yes.
Okay. So what makes you think it wasn't an error on their part?
It wasn't?
Because your rent went down.
Right. Well, because they gave me a legal contract, and I thought they are, competent apartment complex that was
Yeah,
a legal contract to sign.
And I don't have a problem enforcing a contract. I don't have a problem doing that. But my understanding is they did not execute the contract. They did not sign it. So basically, the contract can happen in this way. If I were to determine that that's an offer, although it might be a mistake on their part.
And there it is, the legal bombshell. A contract isn't really locked in until there's acceptance, often shown through payment. No money down, no enforceable deal. That one decision not to pay might be the nail in this case.
There has to be something on your part that would lead the court to believe that there would be some acceptance of that offer. Then they might just be stuck. The problem here, and that's why I was asking, one of the ways of showing that acceptance would be payment.
Oh.
Okay, so they make this offer to you, you pay, and then I'm not saying that the court would decide that, but then you may have a binding contract then. But then here's the other part. And sort of, does this offer, they're saying it was an error on their part, basically. So then the question in my mind becomes, does it make sense that that would be an error? Well, it might, because your rent was, what, $14.92, and then it drops, what, $233. That would seem kind of odd, wouldn't it?
Well, I guess I had just assumed, which may have been a mistake on my part, that since the other 2-bedroom wasn't available to rent, that was in that price range, that I was given this amount. It was like the same price.
But they told you, according to what you're telling me, they told you at that point that
Wasn't.
that was not available.
Then why even give me a contract with that amount on it? I was so excited I thought that since that it wasn't available, that, the landlord was being nice and like giving me the same price, even though it wasn't the same 2-bedroom apartment. Even though that wasn't communicated to me, I guess I just assumed that it's just a contract that they offered me.
Understood. But what I guess I'm getting at is, let's assume they were being nice. Let's assume that this was a legitimate price.
Excuse me?
There's no payment or attempt at payment.
That was a mistake.
And that's, as I see it, that's the problem. Because if somebody were to give me something, if my mortgage payment went down, I'm paying that immediately, right? Because, but the thing is here, there's no payment.
I was advised not to give a payment in case something went wrong, like I was immediately evicted, that I would need that money as like something to fall on in case it was ruled against me. I was told that. Like I was given all these different possibilities of what could happen, and
Yeah, but that's I'm assuming that's later down the road and not immediately out of the gate. I'm talking at the point at which they give that contract to you. That was in April, and then you're coming up on May.
And you can feel the tension rising, $9,000 on the line, and the tenant's nerves are cracking through. This is the human side of court. It's not just numbers, it's someone's housing, someone's stability.
In May, there isn't a tender payment at that lower rate. And in there, that's where I see, and then they notify you really in 2 ways. One, although I don't know that this is really a notification, the portal says something different, right? And then they notify you otherwise that that's not the amount.
Right.
Okay. What's wrong?
I'm just feeling nervous. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. If I were, because here's what it seems like to me might be the decision that the court would come to in this case. Prior to this document appearing, you're paying $14.92, right? The rental rate, so...
Here comes the knockout punch, the judge cutting straight to reality. Even if the ruling goes against her, could she possibly pay this today? Spoiler, most tenants facing eviction can't, but that answer could seal her fate.
you're coming up on your lease renewal. And if nothing happens on the lease renewal, typically in most cases, you're paying the same amount that you were paying before. It would just continue, which is what really is happening here. Okay,
Okay.
it's all right.